Let's get straight into things with a look at the local unit. Of course, we had the rand little changed against the dollar and weaker against the euro on Friday. What are your expectations for the week ahead?
Hi, Alishia. Well, the rand seems to have gotten off to a really unfortunate start this morning. We had China's growth target being downgraded, and that seemed to have hit risky assets across the board as well as commodity currencies. So a bit of weakness filtering into the currency this week. However, we remain optimistic about the rand's short-term prospects. We still think that, with it remaining below its 200-day moving average against the dollar in particular, there does seem to be still some upside potential for the currency. So we'd expect it to still maintain and extend its bullish trend into this week. Although we do think that there's going to be a little bit of lethargy in the markets ahead of the central bank meetings on Thursday, so probably some quite directionless moves into that Thursday and then Friday with US jobless claims. So probably we'll see a bit more movement in the currency towards the end of the week.
Interesting commentary coming through from the Deputy Central Bank Governor on Friday last week, Nomvuyo, where he's said that South Africa needs to set policies that aim to reduce the volatility of the rand exchange rate, as capital flows pose a challenge to emerging markets like ours. How have you managed to read into that commentary, and what's your perspective on it?
Well, it really wasn't, some interesting comments, but I think it's a sentiment that we've heard expressed many times from the central bank, and I think South African authorities in particular. We know that the volatility of the rand is a key concern for government and a key concern for business. So it's not necessarily the rand's trend, either weakening or strengthening, that tends to be South Africa's problem. It's the volatility in the currency, because that, of course, impedes your long-term planning. So the sentiments are really nothing new. The Reserve Bank has in the past said, however, that they are doing what they can. They have stepped up reserve accumulation, and we have seen that improvement coming through in gross reserves. But I think on their side, they perhaps are feeling that they've done, what they can, and are now looking to central government to perhaps play more of a lead role in this regard. So certainly it's a situation that one will have to watch throughout the year to see what the responses to that comment are.
Reserves data, just one of the data points we're looking forward to this week as well. But where the governor says that, the capital flows challenge needs fresh thinking, Nomvuyo, what are the options that we're really looking at here?
Well, this is the tough one, because none of the options really seem to be ones that South Africa can put into play. There was a debate a while ago, as you recall, when there was the currency wars in Brazil, implemented their tax on foreign inflows, and there's a lot of debate about whether South Africa shouldn't follow suit. But of course, the problem is that South Africa is highly reliant on foreign funding, and with our current account being the size that it is, anything that might impede capital flows into the country, it's going to be problematic to get that passed and to see no effect come through on the economy side. So I think that's the challenge for South Africa, that the rand is volatile, but all measures of capital controls are going to have some adverse consequences as well.
So let's take a look at the range that you've got pegged out for dollar rand or euro dollar to start off with this week.
Well, as I mentioned, the rand is weakening and also weakening against the dollar, against the euro. So what we'd be looking for now is to see whether the rand makes a break above 10.27 against the euro. And if it weakens that far, then that opens the door again to 10.35 against the euro. But we wouldn't be calling for such sharp, pronounced currency weakness against the euro for this week.
Against the dollar?
Well, against the dollar, the rand is also slightly softer, but as I mentioned, I do think that we could be poised for some further strength. So should the rand, should there be optimism towards the end of the week after the central bank meetings, or better than expected US jobs claim data, then we could see a move back in below 750 into the 740 range. However, failing that, a sustained break above 756 could then open the door back up into the 760 range.